Because I still don't see it.
We're live. It didn't give me an option to choose what group.
What is it?
It didn't give me an option to choose what group.
We're not on Healers. I think you're probably live on your own personal page.
I ended it. Redo it. I'll share in group.
Everyone, just give us a moment. We're trying to join in live on our Facebook page for people who are wishing not to join in Zoom that are part of.
Facebook family.
Yes, there we go. Yay, now I see it. Now we're live on our Facebook page. Okay. There we go. Gotta make sure to do that. Perfect. We are on Facebook Live. And also, my love, can you please check the chat box frequently? And then, okay, perfect. So welcome, welcome. Thank you for joining via Zoom or on our Facebook page, our private page, which will be in, if you're not part of that group, I highly suggest you join. So if you want to watch the replays right away, you can. They will be on our page. And again, it is a private page. So everything that we speak about is just amongst members only. And so we are Dual Dragons. My name is Rebecca and my husband,
JB Atkins, and we're holistic wellness consultants, aka the Muscle Whispers. There's contact information if you wish to reach out via email at jbr@dualdragons.com, or just visit our website at dualdragons.com, or text or call our number at 949-942-1428.
yes, definitely. And at the moment, we are giving free 30-minute consultations. If you would like to get to know us more personally, what do we do? How can we help you? Take advantage of that free Zoom of a 30-minute consultation. So I'm going to stop share because I really want, and make sure to keep me on gallery view, please. Let me get out of here and then get back on Zoom. There we go. Because I want to be able to see the chat box. That's why I want to stay on gallery view. So thank you everyone for joining in. And today's topic is about the power of words and thoughts and how they manifest in our bodies. So to start off, I'm just going to share a story. And this story is the beginning of a long period of health issues, me at 19 being really sick, depending on doctors to figure out a way for me to get better. I wasn't. I was just getting worse until I finally met a holistic doctor at age 24, and I still see him till this day, and the staff. They're a wonderful group. A big shout out to Cone Health Institute in Costa Mesa, California. And they have been a lifesavers of learning about alternative care, holistic care, and just the power of our words and thoughts and how they manifest in our body. And because of them is why I started going to massage school and more from there. So the quick story for today, because it's connected to our experiment. So the quick story is when I first got married in my first marriage, I was 27, I thought this was going to be the man of my life. And we had a plan. Our plan was we had just gotten married. I had just gotten my AA in human development. and he had just finished his independent studies because he didn't get to graduate from high school. And so I gave them, the plan was that he was going to go to school and I was going to work. And then within that time frame, he would get his AA, so then we could start our family. So I'm thinking, wonderful life, wonderful beginning. It's all good. Well, 4 years into the marriage, he still didn't have not one unit successfully in his record. No, nowhere close of getting an AA. I'm working, and there was a strain in the marriage. And at that time is when I finally decided to start going to massage school, because I was really interested in alternative care and the effects it was having on me and how I was feeling so much better. And my current husband at that time did not like the changes. And it was interesting seeing how we are creatures of habit. You know, he liked me being sick and being dependent on him and not being so independent anymore. You know, he didn't like that. And during that time, like I said, I was starting to go to massage school. He stopped talking to me. So it was very strange. It was a strange experience to go through. You know, I'm in the marriage and my husband's not talking to me, and he started sleeping, and I'm going to massage school, and I'm, you know, at that time working at Cone Health Institute as back office. And I remember waking up one morning, going to my car and finding a letter in my car. And in that letter, he specified how he wrote it for a whole week. It was like almost like a journal type of letter where each day he would write something to me. And he just talked about how he wished he could just stay asleep. And in his sleep, in his dreamland, he had the perfect life with me. And when he would wake up, he hated the life he had with me. And so when I read that, it was a very impactful letter. When I arrived at work, I was fearful. I had fear. I had doubt. I had every emotion you could think of running through me that day. And I went to my holistic doctor. He happened to be there early when I showed up and there was no one else. So I took advantage. I said, "Can I talk to you? I need to share something with you because I don't know what to do with this." So I kind of like read to him parts of the letter, the parts that were scary for me, where he would say that he'd rather just stay asleep from now on. And because it sounded almost like a suicide note. And I later came to find out it was, you know, partly a suicide note. And so I remember he told me he's in a severe depression, tell him to come in right away so we could help him out. He gave me some supplements to help boost his immune system, boost up certain hormones to be able to help promote healthier well-being in his body. So me, like a loving, devoted wife, I come home with this little bag of supplements, and I go to him and I said, "Listen, I know it's been a rough week. I read your letter. I'm concerned. I spoke to Dr. Cohn about it. I really, you know, he suggested you start taking these supplements. He suggested to go see him. We need some help." And I remember as I handed him this bag with all my love and concern, he looked at me and started laughing in my face. And I didn't know what to think at that moment. Even as I'm talking about it at this moment, it's just kind of going back to that moment and just feeling almost like this chill in my body. And I remember he laughed in my face and said, he said these very impactful words. "You're so stupid. And this was just to teach you a lesson." And I remember at that moment, let me take a breath. At that moment, I lost it. I had never seen this side of me before come out, and it's never come out since then. But I lost it. I was enraged. I was so angry that I cursed this man. I told him everything and anything I felt at that moment. Like this spew of anger came out even through my ears. I was sweating. I was hot. And it was so hard for me to control. Even after I said everything I had to say, I went into my room, locked the door, and I destroyed everything in my room. That's how angry I was. That room was a mess. I remember screaming into my pillow and just ripping the blankets apart. And just being really, really upset. I mean, beyond upset. I was enraged. I was seeing red. And I didn't realize at that moment what I had done. I was oblivious of what was happening within my body. So when I went to see Dr. Cohn and he asked me what happened, he had to treat me that day. And he explained to me, the minute you feel anger, the minute you feel a very negative emotion, it takes less than a second for it to start poisoning your body. And when he said that, I felt like this big glass of ice water just pour all over my body when I realized that I had almost like eaten a bucket of poison at that moment because of how enraged I was. So he had to treat me right away. I went through several sessions. And because of that, plus the stress of going through a divorce, separating assets, it was not hard, but it was stressful. And that took a toll on my body. From being successfully healthy after seeing Dr. Cohn, getting out of, when I was 19, my near-death experience and being sick all the time, finally being healthy, going back to ground zero, just like that, in a second. Going back to ground zero, realizing that now I was dealing with a benign tumor in my pituitary gland. That was the outcome of those emotions, those words, those thoughts. And that's how it manifested in my body. So for many years after that, another journey, healing journey for myself, I had to do holistic care and Western medicine to be able to control the tumor that was growing rapidly in my pituitary gland. And it was an experience that I don't desire on anybody. It was hard, harder. I think it was harder than the first time around when I was really sick, because the first time around, even though as sick as I was in a happier place than I was the second time around. I was happier because I was in my home, in my room, in my comfort space, slowly getting healing, slowly getting better. So with that story links to what the experiment we're going to be doing today, the power of words and how they manifest in our body. So during that time, like I mentioned, I had started massage school at the same time. And I remember that day I showed up to class and we would all pair up, the students. And it happened to be that one of the students was absent. So it was an odd number. And whenever that would occur, the teacher would work with whoever was not up. And so that day it happened to be me. And we were working on the neck. And I remember she had me lay down first because she was going to teach the techniques to all of us. So she had me lay down first to kind of feel the technique, and so she could also teach it to everyone else. And the minute she touched me, without even knowing, "Oh dear, what have you done?" She whispered in my ear. And I said, "I've been going through a lot." And she said, "You need to take these knives out of you. You have knives digged in here. Whatever happened, you need to let it go." And again, another dose of reality. What did I do to my body? I took care of it for so long to get healed again, and here I am back to ground zero. And I remember I grieved. I went home, I cried. But the good thing was I still had the opportunity to heal. So with that, not only did I start learning how to heal, I started learning how to talk to myself in a loving way. To be able to look in the mirror and say, "You are worthy. You are here for a reason, and you need to fight for yourself." And our teacher during that time decided to do this experiment. So let me go back to sharing. So here is the experiment she had us do. And this is why I asked everyone to grab 2 leaves. I have one. JB has the other one. And I asked the tree for permission. I picked it off from the tree because it has to be beautifully green. So you could really see the effects of this experiment. So don't feel bad. Ask the tree for permission. I had several people reach out to me like, "I don't know if I could do this." And I'm like, "It's okay. Just ask the tree for permission and just say, 'Beautiful tree, I love you. Please let me just pick off 2 leaves. It's for the purpose of learning, to learn from you the effects and the power of words.'" And so the tree willingly gave me 2 leaves. So if you haven't had an opportunity to get your 2 leaves after this, I recommend to go outside and just ask the tree or the plant. If there's a bush with leaves, ask the plant for permission if it's okay. It's the purpose of learning, and it's going to really help you learn. So what you're going to do is you're going to place the leaves in separate rooms within the same environment. So my husband has one in a separate room. He's in a separate room, and I'm in another room. Same kind of lighting. There's a window. It kind of has to be the same environment. You don't want to put like one in a room and one in a bathroom without a window. It's a very different environment. So try to find 2 rooms separately away from each other where you could place the leaf somewhere, just anywhere. And for the next starting today and until Tuesday, every day you're going to go into the room, and I'm going to have my husband do this because the first time around when I had to do it, it was the hardest thing to do. And if you happen to have a spouse or a partner, that's great. Have them be the bad one. But if you have to be the bad one, I suggest you sage before and after you do this exercise, and just, kind of like, I said some negative words that it was just for the purpose of learning, but I don't want them to stay within my body, So make sure to sage before and afterwards. But I'm going to have my husband be the bad one. So I don't have to do that. So every day you're going to go in a room, and to one of the leaves, my leaf, you're going to be like, I love you. You're so beautiful. You're the most beautiful green leaf I've ever seen. You're so special. You're so worthy. You're going to say so many positive things. And you don't have to spend a lot of time. It's just go in every day. Oh, hello, my beautiful leaf. It's so good to see you. I love you. You're so beautiful. I love you. I love you. I love you. I love you. And then you have to go to the other room. And that one you can be a little more negative.
Or just your negative thoughts that you have for the day, if you want to do at the end of the day versus the morning. Like, why do you wake me up with a pain in the neck? I still feel fat. I feel bloated. Why are you so dry? You make my skin dry. So all the thoughts that you've already played in your head, just kind of make this blaming this leaf and just put the energy towards it. So you don't have to make up the bad things. We all have some kind of programming of this negative words or bad energy that to be conscious of. Again, it all serves its purpose. For some reason, there's like a negative or heavy energy that goes with these negative words.
So we're going to do that daily. And I really want you all to share your results at the end for the following day, because it's going to be very impactful. I remember when I did this exercise, I was very surprised to see that every classmate, including myself, we all had the same results, all different homes, all different leaves. And when you see the results, it's almost like an eye opener, like, wow, that's how powerful our words are. So you're really going to see the results with this experiment. So with that, let me go ahead and stop share.
Speaking about sharing.
Yes, go ahead, my love.
So with my story, one of the memories that came up as we're having this conversation was around middle of my second grade, so like 92, 93, I was moving from a place called Bakersfield, California, to an area in Los Angeles, California, where my parents were going through a separation and I was transitioned to a new school. And of course, being a new kid and the challenges I've experienced up to that point, where my biological father said, just sit there and shut up or be quiet, I carry that vibration of his words as my own. So when I got to this new class of second, third grade mix, very quiet, wasn't really engaging, wasn't really responsive, but I could recall for almost 2 weeks, the teacher said, just sit there and write your name. And I swear to you, I felt like I heard this teacher said, oh, damn, another dumb Mexican. And I was like looking around, where's this person at? Where's this kid at? I'll be their friend. But most of the class was a mix of Hispanics, African American, Asians, and whites. And I was like, where's this kid at? Looking back at it now, after that point, I was like an avid reader. I would read every day. I was the kid that, hey, put the book down, let's go to sleep. to stop reading and resistance. And of course, that layered on with other programming and words and phrases that I took on as my own that made my life challenging. And even being vulnerable and honest with all of you guys, this past year, I've been working on what I discovered to be my addiction to suppress and avoid my emotions, to be a whole, it's been an amazing growing experience, similar to what this experience is, about being aware of your leaf. And you heard us share the metaphor of your body being your sacred garden and maybe replacing some of the plants.
Yes, 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 yes. So with this, I would like to invite anyone here to share your story, an experience you had with words and thoughts. What did you go through? How has it manifested in your body? Have you made that connection? I would love to hear from other guests here to kind of share some stories that will hopefully inspire others to be like, I'm not alone. Oh, wow, I'm going through this too. And, give them that hope, that little beacon of light that there is possibility of changing within yourself. Remember, others can't do it for you. It's up to ourselves to do those changes. So if anyone would like to. Yay.
I'd be happy to share. I'll pick one, trying to decide what example to pick, but I had an experience. I lived in Houston before I moved to California. And one day I went to a yoga class and I was like, the yoga instructor, I never met her before, but she was asking me about my name, which was cool. I said, well, my parents, it actually means to create, but I'm not creative either. And this yoga teacher said to me, you are creative. Of course you're creative. And I mean, I was like in my early 30s when this happened. So, but it was interesting because I had really thought of myself as not creative. I went into engineering and which is really funny because now I see how engineering can be a very creative profession. But I had decided, oh, I'm an engineer, I'm technical, I'm logical, I'm not creative. Like this is my path. That probably some society influenced it a little bit, but it was also just me. Like that's what I told myself. And as soon as she told me I was creative, I started noticing things a little bit more. I don't know if she said watch, like something like that. And that next weekend, it was just very natural for me, but I was on this bus full of people and I just invented this game, like where I was like, oh, we're going to play, it's going to be called Silent Bus. It was, a 30-minute bus ride to go somewhere. It's like every 30 minutes, we're going to turn off the music and everyone's going to switch seats if you want to, and you can meet a new person. And people loved it. Like people kept coming up to me all weekend and telling me how it started their weekend off on a great foot. And because this person had planted that in my head, I realized like, that's actually pretty creative. Like I invented this whole thing and it created this great experience for people. And I was excited to go back and tell her. I don't know if I don't think I actually wound up getting to see her again. But then I just started seeing other ways in my life, like, and talking about it too to other people. It's like, yeah, I'm not creative. They're like, what about all those costumes that you invent, that you put together? And I was like, well, that's like, I use like Pinterest. So like you still do it. You come up with that. That's creative. And now I've just started embracing it more and more to where I now am open and enjoy like painting sometimes or doing actual art, where before I was like, I couldn't do art. I'm an engineer, and just also noticing it in my interactions with other people and how I can relate to them in ways different than other people can. It's really opened up the way, me just starting to tell myself I'm creative And actually, I'm realizing I haven't been saying that to myself in a while. I should like add that back into my morning routine. But just through me telling myself that and embracing it, I'm having a lot, it's becoming real and true for me, and I'm creating more, and it's amazing.
Yeah, and it's like, and how do you feel in your body when you start doing those little changes?
It feels so good. It feels like I'm actually in alignment. And I'll admit, like the first few times when I started saying I am creative, because I would say it as a mantra for a little bit. It didn't feel real. But saying it enough, it started to feel real and to manifest and become real.
Exactly. So yeah, it's just really interesting to be able to see those changes, and especially when others can start seeing them, or others can see much a bigger perspective of you, that we sometimes, we only view ourselves like this, and everybody else has like this big picture of us that we don't even realize. So having that great community, that great group of friends that are positive, that's why I always say, surround yourself of positive people, of healers, of people that really become your cheerleaders to help you in this process. Because if you try to make these changes alone, I don't think it would be as easy as it is with a group of people. So that's why I always say, in this group, join our group, get to meet all the healers, the guest speakers, whoever you relate to, form a friendship, connect with them. You never know where that connection is going to lead you in your life, in your health, in your mind, your thoughts, your words. So I'm always trying to be everyone's cheerleader.
Well, and it's worked. I have formed multiple connections from this group. And like one example is you and JB. JB said to me one time, like, you will make a great healer. And him saying that really opened me up to suddenly seeing the ways that I was helping to actually heal people, and to embracing it more and taking it on. Because when someone reached out to me for help, I was like, wait, I can do this. Like some other people see this in me, and it's made a huge difference. So
Great.
thanks, JB. And both of you for creating this group.
Sylvia, would you like to share?
Well, I think when I started to believe that I was a creator was when after my my stroke. After my stroke, about 9 years ago, 9 years ago, I started to get very sick. It was a stroke, then another, little stroke. I have 3. Then I have fibromyalgia, and I think it came because of the traumatic event of the CVA of the stroke. So I was in pain for almost 7 months. Those months they were horrible. I couldn't sleep. The pain, it was so traumatic. I wasn't able to walk. I was using a cane to walk, and it was awful. Then I started to talk to my body, and I started to tell them, that I was in pain, to please, easy up with me, that I couldn't handle anymore, because they were giving me so many drugs, and I was losing my mind. So then, my background as a Christian, I was reading the Bible, and I saw where it says that God created the heavens and the earth by speaking to. Mm-hmm. And then I read, if you talk to the mountain, if you ask the mountain to move, it's going to move. So I said, I'm going to talk to my body. Mm-hmm. So that's when I started talking to my body, and I appreciate it every day. When I have less pain, I would tell my body, thank you. You're being good to me today. And I'm not saying I'm not in pain anymore. I'm still, there are some days that, the pain is there. But I think when you realize that you can create, you are also become more easy to hear and see behind of whatever is going on. So you can really talk to what is behind, not the curtain that doesn't let you see, you know, what's really going on in your environment. So that's when I started.
Yeah.
And then, you know, I like to paint. I know I can create art. I like to write. So I'm with you. Words, the way we speak, it's it's a message to create something.
Mhm.
So I'm very careful with the words since then.
Definitely, like I said, I could relate, I could say most of our illnesses and diseases are from our own creation. If you really think back, like before you had the stroke, what was going on in your life at that time? What was happening around you? How were you feeling? When you start making those connections of what happened before you had the stroke, you come to realize like, wow, there was a pattern there that I
Mhm.
didn't realize I was doing to myself. You don't realize it until it knocks you down. Literally, it knocks you down.
Yeah.
So I always say to everyone, even though you have that hardship, that moment of not feeling that great, it was a great lesson at the same time. And like what you said, those words help you to see. So basically, it makes the invisible visible.
Mhm.
You take the
Yeah.
out by using words and thoughts, and being able to see them is what makes it really impactful. And that's why I wanted to do this exercise with everybody. So when you can see the invisible become visible, because words, we just, oh, it's just words, I just said it. Who cares? That's the past. But you don't realize that they have, just like a pebble, when you throw it in the water, they have a ripple effect. You can't see that.
There
So,
is a there is a study, I think it was in the 1940s, 1950, and somewhere in Europe, where in an orphanage, where they separate a certain amount of kids, and some of the kids, I don't know why they let them do it, but they did the study. So some of the kids that were getting just the basic, you know, feeding them, changing them, and putting back in their crib, no interaction whatsoever, like talking to them, singing to them. And they have other kids in another room where they were talking and singing and giving extra. And after a month, they could see that the kids they didn't receive those words, good words, I want to say, they were failing to thrive. And the other ones that were developing, you know, wonderful. So yeah, words has a lot to do with our bodies and how we develop.
exactly. It has a big impact on development of our bodies and how they evolve and what manifests in within yourself.
Mhm.
Yes, and there's times when those really challenging thoughts are like come to mind, like someone did something to you or you got cut off, say you're driving, rather than releasing that, say, negative thought or energy or emotion, use this very powerful tool that we've been leveraging and using every day, especially me as I'm kind of really addressing, say, my healing journey is that's an interesting point of view. Is it even mine or is it someone else's? Oh, that person's a careless driver. It's an interesting point of view. I thought or someone else's. Oh, that's a dumb Mexican. That's an interesting point of view. Was that mine or the teacher's? Was it even the teacher's or something she heard? Like, of course, the words could be more vulgar, much heavier, more negative. Doesn't matter. This is an amazing neutralizer. That's an interesting point of view. Whether it's yours, whether it's someone else, if you want to neutralize an argument or you feel like they're trying to pick an argument, have you react to their negative and spiral down with them? An interesting point of view.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah,
I like that.
yeah, a message or a story, Power of Words. They had the same class and they had substitute teachers to fill in for the main teacher. Similar to the Selvia experiment, they told the teacher, hey, these kids are the worst. They're gonna have trouble taming them. Good luck. Lo and behold, as they're going through studies, the teacher had a hard time getting their attention, had a hard time addressing each student's needs. And when they test them with the quizzes or tests within the time frame, they did like C's was the best grade, D's and F's were the average of the majority of the class. Teacher, same group. Hey, these are our best students. You're gonna have a tough time keeping up with them. So hopefully you have your running shoes on, with your brain obviously, and have an awesome class. Those students average mostly B's and A's and a very few C's because of the perception, the pre-frame, the words that the teacher went going in. Whether it was good or bad, you could use, when you're in a situation like that, say you go into a new job or you're meant to train or teach or engage and lead a group of people, whether it's good or bad, positive, again, for you to stay in control of yourself, your words, that's an interesting point of view. I'm gonna go in with a clean slate and just work from there. But again, you could add yourself and stack the positive energy. This is gonna be a great class. It might be challenging, but it's gonna be fun. Put whatever values you want, whatever energy you want to make this. And that's usually what we do when we talk about creating these workshops, these seminars for you guys, is as we meditate on it, like, what do we want to contribute? How do we want to serve them? And we listen to the feedback, especially when we go into the private of what you guys asked for and from our clients. Well, I notice I'm having this going on and it ripple effects through all our clients and conversations with other healers. That same thing is like, there goes the next course, the power of our words. Or like previous trauma, or previous talking to our guides, or previous understanding our chakra and energy, and so on and so forth. So it's not just us figuring out and guessing. No, it's because of you guys being present, your contribution, your engagement, your words, sharing that you want to heal or learn something different to help you along your healing journey.
Yes. And what's interesting, and to turn the page instead of not focusing on the negative part and now turning the page to the positive part, we actually had experience with one client where she was like, I don't know what to do, guys. I'm up for another promotion. And she just had her third baby and she's making all this money and she has all this responsibility. And, and as she's telling us her struggles, because we work on her frequently, she's like, we're okay. We have an abundance of money. We have a beautiful home. So we just decided to give all the extra to our church. And the more they give us, the more they're giving to the church. She goes, but I don't know how to stop this. And she was just like, and I started laughing and I said, do you realize you possibly have set it up this way? Did you hear what you just said? The more we get, the more we're giving to our church. So in a way, you told the universe, okay, universe, if you give me more, I'll give more to my church. So the universe is all like, oh, she wants more to give more to her church. And when I framed it that way for her to realize what she had just said, she was all like, I want more time with my family. I want to be able to have dates with my husband. I'm like, okay, so now let the universe know. Thank you, universe, for the abundance. Thank you for the opportunity to give to my church. But what I would really like at this moment is to have more time with my children, have more time with my husband. And I really appreciate, don't stop the flow, but don't increase it. We're good. It's good. It's all good, but I would like more time with my family. So it was just interesting when I made her realize that the words and her thoughts had to kind of change a bit. So it wasn't to the point where she's stressing out like, oh no, another promotion, more responsibility. She's really good at what she does. But it's like she had that flow going, that positivity going, that it just kept growing and growing to the point where it's like a little too much for her to handle. And so it could go both ways, you know. When things start really going really good for you, you know, sometimes it's like a little hard to keep up. Like, it's like, wait up, that's a little too fast for me. But you have the power, again, with your words and thoughts to, you know, say, okay, thank you, you know, this is great, but let's do, I need this to tweak a little bit and just be clear with your intentions and your thoughts. Like, this is what I need now. You know, this is what I want to work on now. Thank you, you know.
And that's what we encourage about building your healing or your community, whatever that small tribe may be for your focus, whether it's developing your business, developing your healing, self-healing. Because the session before that, we were kind of peeling some layers from her and kind of, what does she really want? And she's, I want to help more people. She's trying to deny the promotion. Like, I don't want the promotion because it'll take way more time for me to be able to help more people. And this recent session, he still gave me the promotion.
She goes, I got the promotion. I'm making more money. And we're like, it's going to be okay. The universe knows that you can handle this. So you're going to be good, you know? So we've just been being her cheerleaders. It's all good. You know, we're here for you. There's a reason why we come to you, and we're helping you through this process. And she's like, I know, I don't know what I would do without you guys. But it's always good to see that, you know, to see how the universe blesses us all the time. That in those experiences, it makes the invisible visible for me. Like, wow, look at this. You know, she's flourishing, she's successful. You know, that is attainable. You know, we all can have that, you know.
And speaking of cheerleaders, Patty's on Facebook talked about Vera. Awesome. Thank you for sharing. Words do matter. Selvia, joy to you. And many, many other stuff. Thank you, Patty. So with that being said, Anna, do you have a story would you like to share about your experience with words and how it manifests in your body?
I do. When that's me, right? Just can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So for myself, I know you guys know, but not many. I've had a lot of trauma, emotional, physical, sexual, and all that abuse. So when I ballooned almost to 400 pounds, and when I started my health journey, well, all throughout my life, all these negative words and, you know, like, you're worthless, you're never gonna do anything. You know, I'm afraid of doing job interviews because, oh, they're gonna see how fake you are, you're not worthy, you know, all these thoughts in my mind. And when I started my health journey, I just, when my brain started saying and talking and telling me everything that I was not, I started putting positive words to replace it. And then it, you know, when you start, you don't believe it. Your mind tells you, you're a liar. You're fake. You're not worthy. You know, you're not those words, whatever it is that you're saying. And then what I started doing is like putting evidence in my mind, you know? So my mind said, you're never going to be good enough, because I started going back to school. You're not going to be good enough. You're a fake. You're a failure. And then I said, no, wait, I got an A. So you're not true. So then I just started putting positive words and then implementing some form of evidence attaching to what I was saying. And then like one day I woke up and it was, instead of waking up with this negative word, it's like I started waking up happier and feeling positive and feeling energized and revitalized. And it's been like a life changer. And I was just reading, as a matter of fact, I did that on my own, but I was reading The Power of 4 to 1. So if you start implementing 4 positive words for every 1 negative, it's like it balances the negative, right? 1 negative word deflates you, but 4 positive will turn that off. And the example that they gave is, let's say you put something on Facebook and somebody posts really positive, 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 and then a bad one, your mind focuses on the bad one, even though they were 4 or 3 positive or whatever it was, it stays there. But if you go positive or negative, positive, 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 then it's like, oh, wow, yeah, this person might be having something out there, but look at all these 4. So that's when the mind started shifting. So yes, those words in our mind, it's, they're just liars.
Yeah.
So don't listen to them.
Oh, thank you. Oh, someone had to jump off. I just saw the chat. Yeah, definitely. Thank you for sharing that, Anna. And that's so true. We tend to, like, Facebook is a good example. That one negative comment makes people spiral downwards so quickly. And it doesn't matter if they had like all these other friends saying, oh, you're beautiful, you're wonderful, you're great. But the minute you have that one person say, ugh, this is so dumb. You're dumb. Or they make a comment, we tend to focus on that.
We do.
And it's like, why do we do that to ourselves? It's like, because like you said, we know the truth, but it's almost like, we don't believe it. And why don't we believe our own truth? It's really, we become self-sabotagers
Mm-hmm.
so easily. And it's, when I see that, we've all done that. I've done that. And it's like, and it's always afterwards, I'm like, why did I do that? But at the same time, I see them as learning experiences. Like, at that time, I was not in a good place. It starts making sense when you're able to go back and see your environment and see where you were at. And I'm like, oh, at that time, I was not in a good place, not in a good relationship. It makes sense why I was doing this to myself. But it's not until you get out of it that you could see it, And so they're huge learning experiences. So I just wanted to share one more time the exercise. Where did it go? Hold on, guys. So that way everyone, if they missed it, they could hear it one more time. The exercise there we go.
First time, say, listening to us, this is usually what we share with every client. Your body is your sacred garden. And if you ever got to read a military map, there's 3 different norths. There's a true north, a map north, and a magnetic north. We translate that to mental, emotional, and physical, your navigation system to understand your body. So with that, this experiment of the energy of your words is going to implement those 3 into action. So there's the 2-leaf experiment if you just joined us.
Yeah. So again, this is the homework of the week. If you haven't had a chance to go pick 2 leaves off the tree or a bush, again, ask the plant for permission and just let the plant know this is for a learning purpose. You don't want to hurt the plant. It's like, I just need this to learn from you. Thank you so much for letting me borrow these leaves to really see the effects of words. So like I said, you're going to place them in separate rooms and try to place them in kind of the same environment, and like I said, I'm going to have JB be the bad one and I'm going to be the good one. I don't want to be the bad one ever again. And so to one leaf, you're going to give it love and just really talk positively. You're so beautiful. You're wonderful. I'm so happy to see you. oh, look at you, you're just flourishing. Oh, you're so beautiful and green. I love you. You're so worthy. You're special. And just do that every day for just, just a couple of minutes, not long. And just try to kind of put in your alarm or in your phone, talk to your leaves. And to the other leaf, like I said, if you have someone like a partner or someone else that they could do the bad part, like I told JB, you could do this because I know you could sage and detach from this. So I'm gonna have him be the bad leaf in this experiment. So he's gonna be doing negative.
Why are you so dry? You make me feel fat. You're disgusting. You feel greasy. Oh, what's that hole? Why aren't you perfect? And again, there's no thoughts that come through your mind all day. So if you want to put it towards the end of the day and just kind of make this your attractive leaf of all those bad thoughts, so they can kind of cleanse you and just take all the bad things from you. Consider that as an option for this experiment.
Yeah, if you're doing it alone. But if you can have someone else be the bad one, and if that person is the bad one, I highly suggest to sage before and after. If you do the bad
Show,
part,
show your leaf sideways again. Go sideways. So you notice it's a little bit more long wavy. Look how quick it works.
Mhm.
Gonna crimple up already.
Yeah, just by doing, and you'll see the effects. Like, believe me, at next week, we all share our results. We're all gonna be like,
Rebecca,
Mhm.
can you hear me? I have a question. So let's say in my house, I have separate, but each one, like my son sleeps in one room and my daughter in the other one. So I don't have two like separate. Can I put one over there and then say those bad words, or will the effect linger if I go in there and put it like in one of my son's or daughter's room and talk to it negative? Will it linger in the room, or will I have to like put it somewhere else?
That's why I suggested saging.
Okay,
You remove all the, I just spewed all that negativity onto this leaf, but I need to clear this room now. Like, this is not staying here. This is just the purpose of a learning experiment, or you could say that before you go into the room, just say, room, this is just for a learning purpose. It's an experiment. Please do not attach to the words I'm about to say.
okay,
Okay. So
Please,
yeah,
the power of your words.
yeah, I would definitely clear the room, the person, whoever's saying the negative, kind of like say, okay, I'm about to say some negative things. I am not attaching to these words. This is just for a purpose of experiment, because I remember when I did it, when my teacher had us do it, it was tough. Like, it was really hard from going from positive to negative every day to these leaves. And I remember at the end, even though I knew it was an experiment, I kind of got sick afterwards. I actually did not feel well for a couple days, but it was a really good experiment for me to see what I said, the invisible and becomes visible. You don't realize the effect of words until you could see it.
mhm,
So I highly recommend that before you say the negative words, just kind of, again, remind yourself, I'm just doing this for an experiment. I am not attached to these words that I'm about to say. It's just to put on this leaf for the purpose of learning. And then you can
okay,
clear the room and sage afterwards. you know I would that's why I'm recommending everyone to sage. Make sure to sage, make sure to remind yourself it's only a purpose of an experiment and you're not attached to these words. That's
okay,
really important to say. I am not attached to these words. And no one in this room or in this house is attached to these words if you have a family at home.
okay.
Okay. So thank you, everyone. I think it's that time. Yes, it is that time. We have reached our 9:30. Again, I put a reminder on your phones to do this daily. Believe me, like I said, at next week when we come together, we're going to share our results. We're going to share how it felt doing this experiment. If you and things have that you have been doing for yourself, how has those changes affected you? And so we want to really learn. This is going to be a learning course of really seeing the power of words and thoughts and how they manifest in your body. So thank you again, everyone, for joining in. If you are watching a replay, make sure on the comments below, put #replay and join us with the experiment also. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next time, remember to stay healthy and breathe intentionally.
How you doing,